Back at the beginning of March of this year, I stood inside this building and I shared a little saying, a little quote that was on a piece of paper that I remember as a kid was on the mirror in my bathroom that I shared with my sisters. That quote said, "Attempt to do something so great for God that if He's not in it, it's doomed to fail." Then at that point, we introduced our Just 300 campaign, where we were going to ask 300 people to give at least $300. At that point, we needed to raise $90,000 to cover the down payment, and we were planning on having the mortgage and construction for the property rolled into one. We were excited. We were raising money. Many of you gave and supported us in that. It was such an exciting time. And then on May the 6th, 2 days before Mother's Day, the Friday before Mother's Day, we just got horrible news. And as I was actually walking into a church conference in South Carolina, and the bank called me and said, "Hey, we're happy to tell you you're approved for the loan. Radiant Church is approved. Everything's great there. But we found a new federal regulation that means basically, since you're doing construction before you move in, it's going to double your down payment to $180,000 plus about $15,000 closing costs." So at that point, on Mother's Day of this year, just a little over a month ago, we had raised $39,000 and we needed about $195,000. And we had just 9 days to count down to a deadline that we had to meet to either be all in or risk losing all of our earnest money. I was devastated. I was just crushed. I feel like we had crashed and burned, and I was bummed, to say the least, as you can imagine. I walked into that conference, and of course, I'd probably missed most of the first session, and because I'd been on the phone with the bank the entire time, asking questions and trying to come to some resolution, and there wasn't one. I sat on the back row of this huge auditorium that would normally seat thousands, and I just sat in the back row, and I was just so out of it. And the wife of the pastor, who was a friend of mine, she was speaking, closing up her session, and honest to goodness, I'll just be real transparent, I was getting nothing out of it. I was just so let down, so crushed in my spirit. I didn't know what to do, what to say. Before she went off stage, she says, "Oh, I'm done, but I meant to read for you this passage from Psalm 20 that I got in my prayer time this morning." And she pulled out her phone and she began to read from the Message version, Psalm 20. "May God answer you on the day you crash." It goes on to say, "May the God of Jacob put you out of harm's reach and send reinforcements from his holy hill. May he dispatch fresh supplies and exclaim over your offerings and celebrate your sacrifices. May he give you what your heart desires and accomplish your plans. May all of your wishes come true." That clinches it. Help's coming and answers on the way. Everything's going to work out. I said, "God, you're pretty funny. Here I am. I've crashed and I burned," and he just spoke a word to us about this whole project. And so I shared that with our church on Mother's Day. And instead of being down that we were now $165,000 away from our goal, that God was going to work this out, that he had this. Well, that following week, the president of the bank called me and said, "We believe in you. We believe you're supposed to be in that building. We believe that you're going to reach more people for Christ. You're going to make more impact in the community." The bank president was saying all this. He said, "We believe you're supposed to be there. We figured out a way, if we don't pay for the construction right now, we don't figure that into the mortgage, then we can get the down payment down to $112,000. I said, "Great, that's a whole lot less than $180,000, but I'm still thinking we've got like 4 days before our deadline, and we still need a whole lot of money." Well, the following week, as we were praying and just believing, I felt like God gave me an idea. I called the bank president with this idea. I called the appraiser with my idea. And both of them said, "Yeah, this will work." We had the property reevaluated. Its value had actually increased by $60,000 in those 3.5 months. And so now our down payment had dropped from $180 to $112 to $75,000 plus closing costs. And then in these last few weeks, we were still a long way from it, but people kept giving. You kept sharing it on Facebook and Twitter and sending it to your friends. And today, Today, June 28, exactly 1 year from the day our congregation stood inside there and prayed for God to work it out, today we closed on this building. Yeah, we closed on this building. It's ours. It's ours. Can you believe that? We are now the owners of 844 Hampton Road, Highways 20 and 81. And over the next few months, we're going to continue to believe God for miracles. See, with the way the financing worked out, our mortgage payment will be much less than what we're paying in rent even. We're excited about that, but we still have to get creative with construction. We're going to pray in some construction missionaries. If you or someone you know is in construction and could possibly help us, that would be great. We're going to need licensed plumbers and electricians and HVAC folks to help us, and there's all kind of opportunities. And we're going to continue to raise money through our Just 300 campaign. But we believe God is doing something very special here. We've closed on the property, and we're ready to start tearing down some walls and building some new ones. I hope you'll pray with us. I hope you'll believe with us. We believe that God has brought us this far. It's been an incredible journey that in just a little over 3.5 months, Radiant Church, a young church, has been given by God over $90,000 to pay the down payment, to pay all the closing costs, and to be the owners of this building. Can you believe it? Isn't that crazy? God is so good. Hey, continue to pray with us. If you want to share this video, I would encourage you to do that and share the good news of what God's doing. We believe He's placed us here to make a greater impact in the community, to win more people for Jesus, and to help more people, just like the bank president even prophesied about it. We believe God has placed us here for this time. Thank you so much. Rejoice with us. I love you and hope to see you soon.